Hi everyone, I'm Doug from DigiPen in Redmond. In this video, we'll talk about the way that Scratch stores text and some of the things you can do with it. As we mentioned previously, there are two types of data that you can store in variables in Scratch. These are numbers, which we've already covered, and strings. A string is what we call text in computer science. Actually, to be more precise, it's a string of characters. A character is a single letter or symbol like lowercase a, uppercase L, shui, asterisk, question mark, or even the space between two words. Numbers can be characters too if they are used in text. For example, the last character in MP3 is the character representing the digit 3. Recall that computers can only think in numbers. If that is so, then how can we store words in a computer? Well, we don't actually store words. At least, we don't store them without encoding them first. Computers use various code systems to represent characters, called character encodings. One of the most common encodings used by modern computers was created back in 1960, and it's called the American Standard Code of Information Interchange, or ASCII for short. ASCII uses numbers from 0 to 127 to represent 128 different characters. Let's see an example of how it works. Here we have a simple example of a string. To us, it looks like a bunch of letters. To a computer using the ASCII system, it looks like this. It is fortunate that we don't need to remember these numbers because the computer takes care of the encoding for us. In fact, we never need to worry about character encoding systems at all in Scratch. All we need to do is type in the text we want to use. In Scratch, instead of setting a variable to a number, we can set it to a string. This can be a single character, a whole word, or an entire page. Most of the mathematical operator blocks don't do anything useful with strings, but there are other blocks we can use instead. The join block can combine two different strings into one. The letter block gives the character that's found at the specified position in a string. The length block reports how many characters are in a string. The contains block is a conditional reporter block that's true if the string on the left contains the string on the right. Let's try out our new knowledge of strings with a little trickery. We'll write a program that reverses any string. We'll start with a new Scratch project. We'll begin by creating two variables, one to hold the string we're going to reverse, and the other to hold the reversed version of it. Click the orange Variables category, and then click the Make a Variable button. Name the first variable String. Click the Make a Variable button again, and name the second variable Reversed String. Drag two set blocks into the code area and select these two new variables from their variable lists. In the String Variables set block, type whatever you want to reverse. For now, we'll use A, B, C, D, E, but you can use anything you like. For the reversed string variable, though, clear the value field so that it's totally empty. It needs to start out empty for this process to work correctly. So, what does it mean to reverse a string? It means to write it backwards. The last character becomes the first, and the next to last becomes the second, and so on. If the string is ABCDE, then the result should be EDCBA. Here's how we can get this in Scratch. First, we take the E from the end of the original string, and we put it in the reversed string. Then we take the next character over, the D, and we add that to whatever we already have in the reversed string, which is just the letter E. Then we do this with the C, and then the B, and the A, and we're done. In general, with any string, we will start by looking at the last character of the original string and adding it to the reversed string. We'll repeat this process again and again until we're done. How many times will that be? We'll do it once per character in the string. Since we need to run this process multiple times, we'll use a loop. Click the gold Control category, find the repeat block, and add it to the code stack. How many times should the loop run? It depends on how long the string is, of course. Click the green Operators category, find the length block, and put it in the value field in the repeat block. We want to find the length of the string variable, so click the orange Variables category and find the string reporter block. Add it to the value field of the length block. With this loop, we want to start with the last character in the string and repeatedly add it to the reversed string. Adding a letter in this case means joining that character to what is already in the reversed string, and then writing the result of that to the reversed string variable. Add a set block inside the mouth of the repeat block and select reversed string from its list. Now click the green Operators category, find the join block, and put it in the value field of the set block you just added. The join operator takes whatever you put in the left and right value fields and combines them in that order into a new string. We want whatever we already have in the reversed string to be on the left and the next character to be on the right, so click the orange Variables category and put the reversed string reporter block inside the left value field in the join block. So how do we get only the character we want from the string? We need to use the letter block. Click the green Operators category, find the letter block, and put it in the right value field of the join block. Then click the orange Variables category, find the string reporter block, and put it in the right value field of the letter block. The letter block takes whatever number you put in the left value field and gives you the character at that position from the string in the right value field. So, for example, in the word hello, the letter E is at position number 2. If a word is 5 letters long, then putting in a 5 will give you the last letter in the word. If a word is 20 letters long, then putting in a 20 will give you the last letter in that word. Using the length of a string with the letter block will always give you the last character in that string. The first time this loop runs, we want it to take the character at the position equal to